Alright, it's the international break and welcome back to the channel. So today what I want to do is actually talk about some possible formations for Arne Slot and Liverpool to consider. So as we know, the last three games have been really abysmal for Liverpool because we have not performed anywhere near the levels that we have seen last season. First we got battered. We got battered by Crystal Palace, no question about it. We should have lost 5-1, maybe even 7-1. We're lucky to have lost 2-1, even though it was a last minute excuse me, a last minute winner. Galatasaray wise, we were not there either. I could complain about a penalty that was denied, because the way I see it, it was Konate being fouled. So how is it viewed the other way? But it's no excuse for the horrible performance, because we were giving away passes, we were giving away balls to the opposition in the middle of the park. And then Chelsea was probably the one that really hurts the most, because they had no centre backs. And we somehow actually lost through it because of a last minute winner from Chelsea. And one of the things that kind of pissed me off, if I really want to go there, it really pissed me off because Arne Slot took out Konate for Curtis Jones, which I didn't understand why. The last substitution didn't make sense either, where Endo came on for McAllister when you have a super sub of Federico Chiesa who has been proving himself. It was just a mess. Basically, that whole week was a mess, and the international break could not have come at a better time so that Liverpool can regroup. The problem now is Konate has picked up an injury. So as far as centre backs are concerned, we are left with Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and I think Reece Williams is still with Liverpool. But that's all we got. So how is Arne Slot is he going to put Gravenberch and Endo as centre backs? It's not a good idea. But be that as it may, I've been thinking about like what sort of formations like Arne Slot could adopt. You can say. So let's go through his current formation, and let's go through his not his, but maybe a couple of possible other formations that Arne Slot could use. Especially with Manchester United visiting Anfield next week after the international break. And usually when teams come back from international breaks, their fitness is not as peak as it is when it's not when there's no international breaks around. So let's look at the current formation, the 4-2-3-1 that has been Arne Slot's go-to formation as his recipe of success from last season. So he has a double pivot. The key thing here is the double pivot of Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister. So last season we had Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai as that midfield triangle, and then your front three of Diaz, Mo Salah, and maybe the late Diogo Jota, and then you have Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez and Federico Chiesa as the backup front three. So how can he? So Arne Slot, if he really wants to turn this around, he can stick to that formation. He doesn't have to chop and change. He doesn't have to tinker. He doesn't have to shoehorn players. So he has to make that tough decision of maybe just replacing the player. So in the sense of that 4-2-3-1, that double pivot, Ryan Gravenberch should stay, but I think he can rotate between Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai. And in this season so far, Szoboszlai has been one of our key players, so I think he should pair up with Ryan Gravenberch. And this is where Florian Wirtz could take the number 10 role of Szoboszlai. And then in terms of your front three, obviously Salah's on the right wing. You can put Isak as the number 9, and this is where we want to see Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, kind of like work on their cohesion, because if they can work on their cohesion and show that cohesion like they did with Atletico Madrid, I think there's something to work on. As far as the left wing is concerned, we've seen Cody Gakpo being a regular, but in this case, especially with Man United coming in, he might want to consider, Arne Slot might want to consider a Ekitike on the left wing, which from what I understand, he can play on the left wing as well as the forward position, which I think would be suitable for Ekitike more than Wirtz. So there's the option number one, his go-to option. He should stay, if you want to stay in that formation, by all means, but just don't shoehorn, just put the players in those positions that you want them to be in that formation. And then of course your wing backs, last season was Trent and Andrew Robertson, so now it's Kirkis and Frimpong. So you gotta play Frimpong because he's in that wing back role as well as Kirkis. So that's formation number one. Formation number two, this one's gonna be an interesting one. If Arne Slot wants to play Ekitike and Isak as a strike partnership, then maybe a 4-4-2 diamond formation could be the solution. In it, where Salah and, let's say, Cody Gakpo are the left and the right midfield. They can bomb up as wingers. You have Florian Wirtz as the attacking midfielder, and then you have a two-man partnership of Ekitike Isak with Ryan Gravenberch as the DM, and then you have your wing backs as usual, Frimpong and Kirkis. That's another option where in the sense that you can have a five-man defense, so to speak. Ryan Gravenberch can move up, and then he can spray the passes to the likes of Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, and Isak, and you have a spine in a way. When I say spine, what I mean by that is this: because over the last week Liverpool have had problems stringing passes. If that they can rotate from 4-4-2 diamond to a 4-1-3-1-1. So in essence, it could be Gravenberch as the number 6, Florian Wirtz as the center midfield, Ekitike as the number 10, Isak as the number 9, and your wingers Gakpo and Salah. Now that's if that doesn't work in terms of the player personnel, you could have Wirtz and Isak as a striker partnership with Szoboszlai as the number 10, so that when you go into the 4-1-3-1-1 formation, you can have Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, Isak, Gakpo and Salah. That's a spine right there. So these are like two formations you can play at the same time, if you will, within the 90 minutes. And of course, you can switch Isak with Ekitike. You can play Ekitike and Isak together. Maybe don't even play for Florian Wirtz. You can rotate between Florian Wirtz and Dominic Szoboszlai. And then in terms of the DMs, Ryan Gravenberch is the chosen one, but Alexis McAllister could be that as well. So that's option number 2. So that's the 4-4-2 diamond / 4-1-3-1-1 formation. Now, the third one and the final one that I would be thinking that is a potential. Since if you look at the last 3 games that we lost, our midfield, our central presence is almost non-existent because we are relying too much on the wings. We are relying too much on Gakpo. We're relying too much on Salah. We are not really like just focusing on the central positions, and as a result, the opponents can see that. Just look at how we got bombed by Crystal Palace in the central part of the field. Just look at how there was a point against Galatasaray that there was no midfield presence, no central presence for Liverpool in that game, and how Chelsea also broke our passes in the middle of the park, in literally the central length of the field, not the left or the right. So maybe Manchester United could see that. Maybe Amorim is gonna try and expose that again. So one formation option to counter that is, and this is where there's no wingers. I'm talking about 4-3-1-2. 4-3-1-2. So the back, in terms of the back four, Frimpong and Kirkis, that's where they specialize as the wing back roles. And this is one where Arne Slot could he could deploy, especially when Salah's not around or he's performing badly, because Salah's going to the AFCON this season. So he could adopt that option where Frimpong and Kirkis are the wing backs that are going to run up and down the flanks, and then you have the three central midfielders, where in the middle of that is the DM, is the number 6. Obviously Gravenberch is going to be there, and then you have McAllister and Szoboszlai as the central midfielders. They can move up a notch. Florian Wirtz at the number 10, he can move up a notch to form a 3-man, potentially 3 striker partnership. But in that formation, it's a front two of Isak and Ekitike. So in essence, Liverpool are concentrating on the middle of the central length of the field, where they can really put those passes together. They can string those passes together. They can go past or dribble past the opposition. And if the opposition wants to try and bomb Liverpool through the wings, then this is where Arne Slot could switch the formation, in the sense that Florian Wirtz could stay at the 10, Isak becomes the low striker, Ekitike goes to the left wing, Szoboszlai goes to the right wing, and you still have that double pivot of Gravenberch and McAllister. So really, especially with no central length presence of Liverpool, this is where Arne Slot can deploy 4-3-1-2. And if Salah comes in, and if he wants to deploy Salah coming in, what he could do is he can actually put Mo Salah in a striker position. We've actually seen, if you recall, Liverpool fans, if you recall, we have seen Salah play in the centre forward position. So centre forward is not new to Salah. He can form a partnership with Isak and Ekitike in this 4-3-1-2 formation. And if we need to spread out, then Salah can go back to his right wing. Then maybe like Wirtz could go to the left, right? Or then Szoboszlai in the number 10. Or he can honestly rotate amongst the four of them, see how it goes. But he cannot Arne Slot cannot tinker anymore. He's not Rafa Benitez. Let's put it this way: Arne Slot is not Rafa Benitez. As great as Benitez is, because he brought us the 5th Champions League, but Benitez is so notoriously famous for tinkering the system, not fielding a consistent 11. And that's why sometimes Liverpool's identity is lost, because when you're tinkering, when you're moving, when you're shoehorning, and then sometimes us as viewers, as fans, when we're watching the game, we were thinking, what is going on? Who is this Liverpool? What is the identity of this Liverpool? We don't know, because when last season is so perfectly clear, and it has been working. So maybe what Arne Slot wants to do is have more than just one Plan A formation, and the 3 formations that I have suggested during this video. These 3 formations could be 3 Plan A formations, depending on who Liverpool is going to face. But at least us as fans, we can see very clearly what the formation is and how it's going to be, how Liverpool are going to operate in terms of attack and defense. And we have the quality, we have the talent, the quality, the goal scoring ability. It's now a matter of they need to have like a consistent system, a consistent formation to work with, and Arne Slot is on him to really how do I say this, to set those formations, 3 Plan A formations that you can rotate, that he can use around it, and maybe he should stick to those three. But what do you think? What do you think is the best solution moving forward, especially with Manchester United coming to Anfield next week, the biggest game, the fiercest game? No matter what anyone says, it's a must-win for both. It's a must-win for both clubs. I would say, obviously for us, it's even more must-win because we're now in second with 1 point behind Arsenal. We really have to catch up. We really have to get ourselves out of this rut and go forward, because the next few games are not going to be easier. We have Inter Milan. We're going away to the San Siro to Inter Milan. A week after that is the League Cup 4th round at Anfield against Crystal Palace, and in between there's another Premier League game. I'm not sure offhand. I cannot remember who we're facing, but with Manchester United being the first game after the international break, it's up to Arne Slot to fix this. It's up to the Liverpool players to fix this, and maybe this is the way going forward. But what do you think should be the way going forward for Arne Slot and for Liverpool? What sort of formations do you think would suit best for Liverpool as they try to make their way out of the rut and rebound in a way that we can get behind them? Let me know in the comments, and as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Oh, and before I go, a massive thank you. Every YouTube channel, every time they hit a milestone, it just means that the content creator behind the channel is doing something right. You know, even whether you have 1 million subscribers or you have just 1 subscriber, every time you have a new subscriber, it's always a milestone. It's always a sign that you're going in the right direction. So my channel has just hit the first 10 subscribers. So thank you to those who have supported me. Thank you to those who have subscribed to my channel. I hope that I can continue to provide content for you, and I hope that I can garner more subscribers, so that I can, like I said, create more content for your viewership, for your entertainment, and I hope that you can help play a part to grow this channel. So as always, please like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Hit the bell button, and thank you so much. Enjoy the international break, and we'll see you back in after the international break. Let's get behind Liverpool, and let's get behind Arne Slot and the players. Let's cheer them on as they rebound, because we really need that rebound. And we'll see you in the next video.